Russia-Ukraine war live, talks begin at Belarus border, says Ukraine President's advisor. Ukraine war updates. Ukraine has vowed not to give ground at talks with Moscow and said their goal for the talks was an immediate ceasefire. Talks between Ukraine and Russia have started at Belarusian border, news agency Reuters informed, quoting an Ukrainian presidential advisor, as Moscow's invasion of its neighbour reached day 5. Ukraine has vowed not to give ground at talks with Moscow and said their goal for the talks was an immediate ceasefire and the withdrawal of Russian forces from Ukraine.Fighting has claimed dozens of civilian lives, forced hundreds and thousands of Ukrainians to flee west and could, according to the EU, eventually displace up to 7 million people. Russia has become an international pariah as its forces do battle on the streets of Ukraine's cities, facing a barrage of sanctions including a ban from Western airspace and key financial networks. Here are the live updates on Russia-Ukraine war. Get NDTV updates. Turn on notifications to receive alerts as this story develops. February 28, 2022, 18:16, IST. Ukraine war, EU to impose new sanctions on Belarus this week, official. The European Union is planning to impose new sanctions on Belarus this week for helping the Russian invasion of Ukraine, hitting exports, oligarchs, central bank, and cutting Belarusian banks off from SWIFT, a senior EU official said on Monday. In terms of the economic sanctions package, it's imminent, it'll probably be proposed either today or tomorrow, the official, who asked not to be named, said. Reuters. February 28, 2022, 18:11, IST. U.S. authorizes voluntary departure of non-emergency staff from Moscow embassy, says State Department. February 28, 2022, 18:09, IST. Statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine on foreign students in Ukraine. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine has requested the relevant agencies of Ukraine to step up support to foreign citizens, including students, wishing to return to their home countries or move to third countries due to the Russian military invasion. In particular, the Ukrainian government is doing its best to facilitate their passage at the state border, which has become overwhelmed with the massive influx of people fleeing Russia's armed aggression. Temporary volunteer assistance points have been set up at the border to provide foreign students with food and cater for other humanitarian needs. As active fighting continues, we also believe it is more secure at this time for foreign students to stay at their places of residence in Ukraine. However, do not be misled by Russian disinformation. There is no discrimination based on the race or nationality, including when it comes to the crossing of the state border by foreign citizens. The first-come first-served approach applied to all nationalities. There is also a standard procedure of documentation applied, with certain humanitarian exceptions allowed for women and children. We call on all states to demand from President Putin that he stops immediately his war against Ukraine, which will be the best way to secure the safety and security of their citizens in Ukraine. February 28, 2022, 18:08, IST, U.S. says it has suspended operations at Belarus embassy. Feb 28, 2022, 17:58, IST, 6 flights carrying 1,396 Indians evacuated from Ukraine landed in India. Center over 8,000 Indians have left Ukraine since the initial advisory was issued, He Foreign Ministry announced today. 6 evacuation flights have landed in India carrying evacuated 1,396 citizens. 4 of these came from Bucharest and 2 from Budapest, it said. February 28, 2022, 17:17, IST, Ukraine war, dozens killed in rocket strikes on second Ukraine city, report cites official. Dozens of people were killed in rocket strikes by Russian forces on the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv on Monday morning, Ukrainian Interior Ministry advisor Anton Herashchenko said. Kharkiv has just been massively fired upon by grads, rockets. Dozens of dead and hundreds of wounded, he said in a post on Facebook. Reuters. February 28, 2022, 17:12, IST, Ukraine war, flight carrying 240 Indians evacuated from Ukraine lands in Delhi. An Air India flight from Romania carrying 240 Indian citizens evacuated from Ukraine has landed in New Delhi at 4:54 p.m. today. February 28, 2022, 17:11, IST. Ukraine war, embassy urges Indians to head to railway station as Kiev curfew lifted. The Indian embassy in Ukraine has issued a second advisory for the Indian nationals stranded in Ukraine on Monday and advised them to reach the railway station as the weekend curfew in Kiev has been lifted. Weekend curfew lifted in Kiev. All students are advised to make their way to the railway station for onward journey to the western parts, said the advisory. It added that Ukraine Railways is putting special trains for evacuations. Ani.